Hey, this is CJ, and I want to tell you about our new show, Minding Your Business After Hours. After Hours is your behind the scenes look into how we grow our ventures. We brainstorm, screen share, and work through the steps we're taking each week. Jump in the bullpen with us and learn new skills while getting stuff done. You can access After Hours by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/minding your business. This week on the Minding Your Business podcast, we talk about remix, results, and realtor rants. What's working in content creation and what's not in real estate. Welcome to the Minding Your Business podcast. I'm CJ Jolliffe with everybody's favorite co-host,
Aaron Gerald.
Here
again. Okay, man. I was going to say, let me know when we start, but I'm guessing that was the start.
We start. Here you go. Here's your notification.
All right. So I need to fill you in on something that's happened with my YouTube channel this week.
You deleted it.
No, gosh sakes. I hope not. No, it was really interesting. So as you know, I was making shorts like they're going out of style. I'm posting one long form video per week.
Growth by brute force.
Yes, just shoving it out with volume. Yeah. And the volume worked. It was a lot of work. And I was having to produce and create and edit and post and do all this stuff with all of the descriptions and titles and all the SEO stuff. I was doing 3 to 4 shorts per day.
Wow. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of admin work. Not even like the creation of the video. It's all the SEO stuff and all the descriptions and all the keywords.
And I would batch, and I got pretty good at doing that. But what I found, this is a new discovery this week, is that that's not how you build your credibility. That's not how you build your videos, your audience.
Okay.
It does brute force an audience. Like it forces your videos out in front of enough people.
Yeah.
And it's similar content, fine. But what I'm finding is that's not what YouTube likes. Now, granted, we've been going around and around trying to figure out what YouTube likes, what TikTok like, and every single one of them are different.
Right.
Here's what I'm learning about YouTube. This week I pared back and I thought, I'm going to do 1 to 2 shorts per day because I'm killing myself and it's working, but it's not working that great.
Right.
Well, that's incorrect. It was working really good, but it also wasn't equating to subscribers. It was equating to additional view time, additional watch time, all of that. Sure. But it wasn't producing the number of subscribers. I wasn't gaining audience. And that's really the point, right? And I had been getting approximately 5,000 views in 48 hours. I had been running at that, just humping out all of those extra shorts. And this week I pared it back. I just made, basically, I took my video, long form video, and I said, with this video, I didn't want to do the clipping thing. I was like, let's shoot real new content, original content, and let's try that. And so then I basically took the script for that. I found 5 to 7 meaty parts that I could rewrite and then be like, for more, be sure to click the full video and watch the full video.
Right.
And I post those and I'm getting 150, 200 views. Not a lot. And I did that for the entire week.
Okay.
A little depressing. 87 views, 154 views. Not awesome.
Yeah.
So yesterday, my video comes out, my long form video, the one at the bottom. I know it's blurry but this is a podcast, so don't look at it. And it's my long form video, and it was out, and it had 14 views in the first 6 hours or whatever being out, which is fine because it's supposed to come out at noon. That's when it says that my audience is most active, whatever. And so I'm like, okay, 14 views, not a lot.
Right.
It's pretty sad. I need to boost it. So what do? So I tried to give it some engagement. I reposted it shared it on Pinterest, and I did all the crap I'm supposed to do. And then I was like, you know what? I did recently see, and I think it was a TikTok or a reel from Facebook or whatever, but somebody talking about here's how you actually get engagement on YouTube.
Okay.
And you take your long form video, you go to it and you click remix. And it's got these two things going like this. And then you
Yeah.
click remix and it's like turn it into a short. Sure. Click it to short. Then you can only grab 15 seconds and it ends up actually making the short 16 seconds, which I haven't figured out yet. But you grab 15 seconds of your video and you go that 15 seconds and it takes the wide one and it chops it in. So you move yourself till you're in the middle
Right.
and then, or whatever. And
Yeah.
then I clicked make or process or whatever. It processes it into that. Then I go ahead and I SEO it and I come up with a decent title that kind of tells what the 15 seconds is I'm talking about. And then I make a nice description being like, click here for the full video. This is just a piece. If you're interested
Sure.
in this piece, go ahead. Not kidding. I post that last night and within the first hour, I had 1,300 views on it.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay, let's try another one. So I'm like, that's crazy because I was sitting there at Hop Keto. Anyway, I injured my toe. I kicked the floor like an idiot, which is padded, but
Did the
it
floor win?
jarred my foot enough that it feels like there's a nail coming in the end of my toe now. I can't tell if it's sprained or broken. It's not swollen. It must just be a pinched nerve. Hell, I don't know. But either way, I decided to take the week off. So I'm sitting there in the little chair. I'm watching. My son's doing it, and I looked down and I'm like, "Oh my god!" I had needed something to do to preoccupy my time, so I figured I'll just take that moment. I'll make this short, clip it, post it, see what happens. And it blew up. 1,300 views first hour, and I was like, "That's
Okay.
the best traction I have had on a short
Yeah.
like ever."
Yeah.
So I did it again. I clicked another one, created another one later in the video, posted it. This is this morning. That was yesterday, about 16 hours ago.
Okay.
Um, and the first one is up to now 2,300 views.
Nice.
And the second one is at 1,800 views in direct competition with the one that I made intentionally with the
Right.
graphic, with the
Right.
words, and with the 154 views.
Okay.
And then the other one is 87 views.
I have questions.
Yes.
So on the ones that aren't remixes, right?
Yeah.
Were you tying them to a long form video?
Yeah. Yeah. If you
Interesting.
watch
Okay.
them, it's still tied to this is the video that's about.
Okay. Interesting.
I
Because I
did
thought for sure that
everything.
would be the
Nope.
difference,
I did
but
everything the same. It's
wow.
just that inside of YouTube, I clipped the video,
Right.
which I believe counts as engagement, which
Right.
then helped
Right.
promote the video, which helped push it out, which helped tie it. So now the video that I had 14 views on, it has 85 views.
Okay. But
Okay.
you're still using those shorts as like a lure into
Correct.
the other video.
Correct.
A
Now I'm
gateway.
just intentionally just being like, hey, try and watch the long form video.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because um I looked and I thought, well, this is depressing. Like I'm down. Like again, I'm down on subscribers, but I'm watching the thing jump up and it's saying +2. And I'm
Right. Right.
and I'm down again. And I'm like, how am I? Oh, I'm still trimming. So
Yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah.
absolutely still trimming or parsing or whatever it is. I'm still
Cleaning
growing
house.
subscribers, more attuned, like more intentional subscribers, as well as parsing off the old ones.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit depressing because I'm like, man, I did all this work, I did all this stuff. I'm down 3 people. And I'm like, come on. Like drives me crazy. I'm like, I'm not making new content to
Right.
lose subscribers. Like this is
Right.
crazy. But it is what it is. So
So
far.
I talk to me about the remixing process, right?
Mhm.
So full transparency, I've never remixed a YouTube video. So do you have to find a congruent 15 seconds or can
Yes.
you piece. Okay, so it has to
It
be,
can
this
be
was
up
15
to
seconds
15
that,
seconds or a little lower,
but
and
no
I've chopped
edits.
some to like 12, but I haven't figured out how to make it longer or to take this 7 seconds and this 7 seconds. I'd love to
Okay.
be able to do that.
I was gonna say, like,
And I haven't figured out how to do that.
that
But
changes that changes how you deliver video, how you deliver content, right? Because you're gonna have to be thinking, if you can't
right.
piecemeal it.
How do I make 15-second soundbite
Yeah.
parts that
So
are
you
gonna be,
start
yeah,
writing in 15-second chunks,
right.
right?
To make it
Here's this impactful 15 seconds. Here's this impactful 15 seconds. And then you've got 45 in between.
okay, yes and no. So here's the crazy thing is I needed 23 seconds for the first video
Sure.
and I didn't have it. So I was like, crap. The explanation of what the video is about is the first like 4 seconds where I'm saying, and this is what you do for this. And then I start explaining it. And I put the 15 seconds in, and I either had to cut the first 3 words of it off, not including the explanation
Right.
whatsoever,
Right.
or the last 3 words off, or 1.5 parts of each of those 2 words.
Right.
So I did that. It's coming in the middle and it's
Yeah.
exiting in the middle.
God, I hate that. I hate that so much.
I didn't
Ugh.
like it either, but
Yeah.
that is outperforming the other video
Ugh.
by 1,000 watches.
So this is going to be my like little mini rant about, and we talked about this kind of stuff before, but it's like when you're on a platform and you're trying to be successful on that platform, you have to adapt what you're doing to that platform to get engagement, to get visibility, and all that stuff. And I
Right,
understand that it's a game you play and you have to play that separate game for each of the platforms.
right,
But that's why so much of the stuff on, let's say, TikTok, or so much of the stuff on YouTube ends up looking the same because everyone's trying to play that same game.
right,
And I just like, I don't know. Again, it is different. You have more freedom because you're not trying to get ad revenue.
right,
You're putting content out there, and every piece of content you put out there is going to be some form of net to
right,
grab people and bring them in and put
right.
them in your funnel, right? So,
Sure.
uh, and your stuff will tend to be evergreen, right?
More
So
so than not, sure.
more so, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and that's again why YouTube works better than TikTok for you, right?
right.
Because TikTok is like, I don't know, 12 to 72 hours.
Yeah,
That's kind of the trend, you know.
yep,
Um, and if it's beyond that, like you're not getting more views after 72 hours unless someone reposted it.
correct.
So
I am virtually not posting anything on TikTok. I did the thing where I posted all of the you know what's crazy? Look at this. And I had given up. I remember telling you, like, oh man, I'm not on there. I'm not doing anything. And it's trashed my videos. I misunderstood, misread something, as I often do. So here's this is the interesting part. Now, if you look, you can see just even from there that some of the videos are blue tinted
yeah,
and some are orange tinted
yeah,
because I
for sure.
hate this orange look, right?
Mhm.
I'm apparently the only one. I don't know if you can see or not, but look at the blue
I can see the
tinted number.
digits. Yeah,
See the digits are all double. And then
that's all quads. Yeah.
uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah. So it jumps from double digit 77 views to 1,300, 1,400, 1,100, 1,100, 1,100, 1,200, 1,200, 1,000, 1,000,
Wow.
1,400. And in
And you didn't
median,
do anything else different.
no, 138 views. Boop. Next video, 1,400.
Wow. You didn't upload it
No,
at a different time?
1,326, whatever.
You didn't start
Immediate.
uploading more often? Like,
Nope. They were set on the same exact, each one, each day, same time. Do, 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 day
okay.
after day after day after day after day, with no outside interference, no nothing. I pre-scheduled them. I posted them.
Wow.
The blue ones got nothing. The orange ones did. And it
Anyways,
wasn't content
I gotta go find
because
I gotta find some orange light for in here then.
I filmed them very much the same way. I mean, the same tell the same thing. I
Yeah.
wrote the scripts the same. Like it's virtually the same content.
Yeah.
Now, I guess okay. I was like, I guess the only way to really know is to reshoot the exact same content in the different light, or just take the filter that I used off because I used a LUT to change the lighting.
Yeah, dude, change the re-export those and upload
I
upload
don't
them.
really save them, so I probably deleted them.
Good
But
God. Oh man. Right now, you just spiked my blood pressure just by saying that. Oh man, I've
well,
got
here's the
projects
thing.
saved from 2008.
I'm like, I don't. Yeah, I get to the end of the week and I'm like, purge, trash,
Oh,
because my computer slows down too much. Now,
buy
granted, there's, outside places to store it and that kind of stuff. And I have saved some, but I usually just save the final videos. I don't save the project, which,
I
granted,
understand
I
that, but
should
you can
save the
trim
project.
projects.
Huh?
And you can, if it's Premiere Pro, you can trim projects and you can save like an extra second and a half on either side, like your handles, right? So it will get rid of all the footage except for what you used, plus like a second and a half on either side. And then you can export that or not export, but copy that project to a archive folder. So then if you ever need to go back in there, you have everything you need. If you need to make a little adjustment or I don't know, take a filter off and re-export it, and don't have any of the fluff. So we can walk through how to do that sometime.
I was like, that's probably something I should learn.
Well, as much content as you're putting out, I understand why it's a lot to save. It is. I
Yeah.
totally get that. Invest in an inexpensive, just spinning hard drive. It doesn't have to be even a fast hard drive. I would get something like
I
I would
have a
get
little.
something like that's you have to plug in with power,
Okay.
that's a spinning hard drive because that's going to be your best value, best,
Okay.
terabytes for your buck, basically.
Okay.
But don't use it to edit off of. Just use it for archive for things that are finished. I mean, I don't even know what prices are. I've got 12 gigabytes of external storage. Um, did I say 12 gigabytes?
Yes.
12 terabytes. I'm sorry.
I was
Of
like, that doesn't seem like a
no,
lot.
12 gigabytes is not much. I've got 4 minutes of video. But yeah, and I plus I have like 100 terabytes in the cloud that I use. So yes,
Okay.
get yourself an inexpensive hard drive. Like don't spend a lot of money on it, and you can start dumping projects there. But you do not want to edit off of them because it will be so slow.
No, I don't. Yeah. No, I have a couple of hard drives somewhere. I'll find them. If
I
it's
also
not here,
wouldn't
it's at
I
my
wouldn't
house.
mess with buying like an SSD drive,
No, no, no. I mean, I have a
because it's
few
going
of
to cost too
those.
much.
I've got a couple that are not bad. I could probably start using them, but um. Oh shoot. Oh no, no, no. Nope, that's gone. I was like,
Man, you had me
hang
in
on. I got
suspense.
my
I was
old
like, what's happening?
computer. I have like 2 terabytes worth of internal drive, but I could just stick a plug on it and use it. But no, my kids using that computer now. No, I've got some. I think I have enough. I can do it. I
This is
just need to know what I'm saving and what I'm doing.
Yeah, this is what I use for like if I need to it's a SanDisk SSD and it's 2 terabytes. This is what I'll use for like if I'm working on a project on the go. Because I've got a terabyte on my computer,
Right.
but a lot of times a project will be easily over 100 gigabytes. And I've got a lot of stuff on my computer. And like, I just kind of like, if nothing else, I want to have, even if it's just a copy of the project, but like, this is super fast, but it's only 2 terabytes, so you don't want to use this for archive because you're going to start, you're going to get several terabytes very, very quickly with the volume of content that you put together.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I
yeah.
probably need to do that. It's for stuff like this. I could have easily pulled that let right off of it,
Yeah.
and then boop, done it.
I mean,
What's
the other
crazy
hack
is
would
I
be,
really liked the cold look of it.
yeah.
Loved those, and they did not perform
But
like I thought
you
they would.
just
I
said
thought they would.
you just said the right word. It's a cold look. It's cool. And if you're delivering information to someone, you want to deliver it because of who you're talking to and who you are. It should be delivered with warmth. So
Well, yes and no, but they're in a cold state,
I
and
get
so
that.
the
They
stuff that I was saying, I wanted to relate to them. I wanted them to be like, "That's how I'm feeling," and so
You
I
can
was
relate to them
projecting.
but it's just so psychological, right? Like
Well,
the
that's why I was trying to do it and project so they could project themselves onto what I was saying.
I mean, I think that your words can do one thing, but visually, it's got to feel like it's a fireside conversation, you know? Like, I don't know.
Shoot.
But
So then what
what
do
do
I
I
need to
know?
how
Just look
about
at the
this? So
numbers.
what do you think? Should I revisit painting? Because I was gonna paint with that kind of but that is still it's not a cool color
Oh, the
mix.
color that's in your other room.
Yeah.
I love that room. I think it's great. I think that you should,
It's emotionally
if
calming.
nothing else, you should do at least one wall, like do an accent wall that color. Um, just yeah, I mean, I really like the look of the other room, and you have plenty of depth in there that you're not going to lose the room because it's too dark or anything like that. You might end
That's
up
what I
needing
feel like
to,
too.
you might need to add an accent light here or there, but
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking
Okay.
of spaces, if you hadn't
Yeah, I
noticed,
noticed you're in a new space, sir.
yes. So we moved. That's why we didn't. That's why we kind of skipped a week because I literally got my desk back together. Well, I yesterday, so Thursday, today's Friday,
Yeah.
was the first time I opened my laptop. I'd been on my iPad and kind of running things that I need to take care of things that I needed to take care of from my iPad, but I was
Right?
very much not up to full speed again until yesterday
Okay.
afternoon. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with this space. So right now it's just kind of like it's a combination of my office and my music room.
Yeah.
So I've got my PV
Music's nice.
Classic 50 over here. And I've got my signed Stone Temple Pilots guitar over there. Um, thank you, Darcy, for that was a birthday present one year. My wife gives the best birthday presents, things that I didn't even know I wanted. She'll
Right.
just like show up with it. I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever, So she did that. I was a big Stone Temple Pilots fan.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
one. I also have a signed LP.
Okay.
Stone Temple Pilots, the Purple album. And one year she took me to see them live. We were on the third row. Like, dude.
You were getting spit on.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty much. That's not sweat. So anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do with this space. Probably like this wall will either be whiteboard
Mural. Oh, yeah.
or mural. That's actually not a bad idea, but it has to be functional. Like, um, and I either want to do a glass whiteboard or I want to do, cause like that's me. Like I need a space to write out my thoughts visually, and
Right.
whiteboarding has been, um, it's hard for me to think through something without being able to like write it visually in front of me.
Right. You know what I
Mind
would
map
like
it.
to see
Yeah.
back there is get a really giant TV
Hmm.
with the piece of the mural that you could have on the screen with the background. So just looking at it, it looks like a complete mural. And
Right.
then you could easily go beep, boop, beep, and then have other stuff on there and make
Yeah.
it professional when you need it.
I don't hate that.
Yeah. I think that'd be
um,
kind of cool.
actually am leaning towards putting a TV there. Um, to do like a digital whiteboard, right? So
I
I can
think it
do a
makes sense because then it's nice and lit up. You can
right,
do it, and you're not turning your back on the board to the
right,
camera. You
right,
could write on your computer, your
right.
iPad, or
I
whatever.
can literally write on my iPad, stream it to the TV. So like right now, if it was over my shoulder, I could be writing out notes. Like we could be
And it's
whiteboarding
there.
and it's
Mhm.
there. And then at the end of it, I don't have to like take a picture of the whiteboard and save it in my
Just
notes. It's literally
screenshot it
just in
in your
my
note.
notes already. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's kind of the direction I'm leaning. Plus then, um, it kind of starts to complete the man cave.
right.
Um, you know, which my
Yeah, you can
garage is
still
already kind of my man cave. I just need a taking over the whole place.
you just need another
I need another man cave.
room
Yeah.
in the cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friend helped us move, and I was showing him like, like, oh, here's what I'm thinking here and there. He showed up like the last day to help move the fridge, you know.
Okay.
And so because it was a multi-day process, but he's like, so where's Darcy's space? I'm like, I mean, the whole
Kitchen.
house is hers. What
Uh,
are you talking about? The whole house is hers. Like, so
right.
yeah, good point, man. Thanks for
Yeah.
making me feel, how I feel. But
Right.
yeah,
Well, and does she work from home?
she does not. No, she actually
Okay.
like her office is about 5 minutes away. It's really
Okay. So
close.
she kind of has a space to work.
She
Just doesn't
does.
need to necessarily be at the house.
She does work from home
I think
like
it was
here and there, but she's like she likes to sit in her on the couch or in her chair and just break out her laptop.
comfy and do it.
If she
Yeah.
had a desk, she wouldn't use it. Where I'm kind of the opposite. I have to come
You have to
into a
have the
space.
workspace otherwise.
Yeah, like when I walk out of this room, I go back into I'm home mode.
Yeah, which I think is a much better system than what you were using, trying to multi-use
Yes, the
other
space that
rooms
we were
like
using
that.
before was miserable.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, it was literally like the only place my desk would fit was in the master bedroom. We had a huge master bedroom, but it still fit. Everything fit, but I would have to like. I'm sorry, it would be weird to get on the podcast right now and like you see my bedroom. I don't know why, but I feel like that's weird.
Mhm.
That's not the kind of podcast we are.
Right.
So, I would have to set up like
The screen
background and that kind of stuff. And it's just like I got
backdrop.
so
Yep.
sick of that. I got so sick of it. And it wasn't just for the podcast, it was literally for every Zoom call. And I have many, many Zoom calls throughout the week. And
Mhm.
so then Darcy would kind of like try to sneak behind and like, knock
Right.
things over. Or one time she like tripped and she like kind of tumbled. I'm like, "Oh, you okay?" So
Yeah.
much better setup now. Plus, we have
Yeah.
a lot more space throughout the house too. The only thing it's smaller in our new place is the garage. It's the same basic width, but it's a foot and a half like shorter in depth.
Which is gonna make a difference considering all the workout equipment you have in there.
I was gonna say all my stuff had to shift instead of being like, so like I've got the power rack, and instead of being facing forward and backward, like if
Uh-huh.
you pulled a car in,
Right.
it's now sideways because that's the way it has to go in. And so I actually have to build like over a
Level it.
4 foot span. I have to build a half inch up on one side to make it level.
Right.
So I'll have to create a platform. For the time being, we'll just do it wonky and crooked. But I long term that can't be good for your body. Like, over years, I don't know. Doing,
Yeah.
starting a half inch lower over here, and I understand,
Right.
especially for like squats and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, it makes a huge difference. And
Yeah.
other little things, we had a lot of storage like in our attic. We still
Yeah.
have like the pull down ladder and everything,
Okay.
but it's just rafters.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to go, buy some plywood, have it ripped into 2 foot strips, put it up there, screw it in. Um, it's all it's all time,
Yeah.
but we love the place. So and now we have a split wing house. And it's, the master bedroom is on the separate side from the other bedrooms,
Right.
which also is super nice for reasons that I'm not going to get into. But when you have a 16-year-old, child that has big ears, let's just leave it at that. Anyway,
Right.
we love the new space. So, and our kitchen is
Yeah.
also like I don't know 3 times the size of our old kitchen. So,
Oh, sheesh.
yeah, yeah, it's again all around like upgrades. It's worth a little bit of pain, uh, in the garage, a little smaller, garage.
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
to get the rest. It's a net positive. That's been a saying a lot in the last couple weeks, with just talking through different things with different people.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
um little market economy update.
Okay.
So, we went into 2025, everyone's excited, right? We're kind of hopeful for what 2025 is going to bring. And regardless of where you stand, with inflation and all those things. I think we're all feeling it. But I have noticed in the last few weeks,
Okay.
let's say maybe past since tax returns, since the April 15th, right?
Yeah.
Um, several lead-ins for me specifically. I was talking with a business owner yesterday, same thing. Things are really picking up in the last few weeks. And it's not just us, it's also, I'm kind of seeing it across different business relationships.
Okay.
And so I'm really interested, one of the things that I notice in marketing is that we kind of see the trend before it happens. So when things are economically kind of tough or they're getting tough, people
Right.
stop spending money on marketing. It's not the best
Sure.
idea. I understand it, but they're trying to lean out their expenses.
Sure.
But also in the opposite direction, when people start to feel a little more room in their finances, they start spending money on marketing again. And so we're starting to
Right.
see that, and it's all trickle down. So it takes time, but
Right.
good news. I think we're headed in the right direction. So at least that's been my own experience.
Okay.
Um, and then, kind of speaking of real estate stuff, can
Yeah.
I, I don't know, vent a little bit?
I was like, you can talk about it, but I'm an event because I got a lot of opinion on that.
So this is going to be turned into a therapy session,
Okay,
just
for
about
sure.
like not like um, tell me about your mother, but tell me about your real estate agent. You know,
Oh my god. Yes. Man, as you know, like I have had a dream ever since moving out here to the Midwest to have, again, semantics, I know, but a family estate,
yes,
or depending on who you ask, a compound. So it's basically a larger piece of property, couple of acres.
right,
The dream would be 10, 12,
yeah,
or two, right? And
right,
then get as many family members on board who would buy into the idea and the concept of being willing to help
right,
and participate in order to cut costs and enjoy things together. Okay.
right.
So I've been watching. We're looking for something within an hour of Omaha,
Okay,
which could easily mean Missouri. It could easily mean Iowa.
Iowa, yeah,
Could easily mean Nebraska. And uh, trying to first of all, there's no realtor who does all three of those. And if you are one who's worth a grain of salt, get a hold of me.
right,
Who's willing to like try and find me a diamond at the cost of a grain of sand. Um,
right, right,
so we're looking for this, and we're looking for an out within an hour. It can have a property on it. It maybe doesn't necessarily need to, but the price has to be right, and there has to
right,
be a little bit of something on the property, right? I would love a creek. It doesn't have to have a creek. I would love trees. It doesn't have to have a lot of trees, but it has to have
sure,
something. It just can't be barren,
right,
used up old farmland.
right, right,
I'm looking for something on that, right? And I'm not kidding you. The last year and a half, the market has been tight and
yeah,
getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And in the last couple of months, it's getting larger and larger and larger. And I'm finding things on the market that weren't before,
right,
and things in my price range that weren't before, and stuff that's been on the market now for 190 days, or not like it used to be. Stuff would be on there for 5 days and get snatched up. And now
right,
things are lasting a lot longer. Prices are coming down. And that's all good news. The bad news is that the people who work in real estate have all apparently given up or been abducted, because I will see a property on Redfin or realtor.com or Zillow or whatever, and I have recognized the fact that it is a pointless endeavor to try and contact the agent through those platforms.
right,
No offense, they're garbage when it comes to getting a hold of the actual agent. You reach out to contact the agent, and then you get contacted by 10 other nincompoops,
yep,
and you're trying to get a hold of the agent, and now people are, let's get your mortgage. I don't need a mortgage. I need you to shut up and go away. I need to talk to the agent about the property.
right,
And then when you when you do track them down, which is you getting their name and then going to Google and then trying to find out if they have a business or if they have any other way of contacting them, and then you find their phone number and you send them a message and a text and a phone
Right.
call, and then no calls back. And then you're like, oh my God, let me see if I can locate their mom. And then you find their mom on Facebook, who's also an agent, and you're like, listen, do you have any affiliation with this person? And they're like, oh, that's my son. He's so busy. Sure, I'm sure he's so busy. Then you get a hold of that person, and then finally
Oh,
they go, "Oh, yep, that property is available." And you're like, "Great, there's no photos of it, just a couple of outside pictures and stuff. So, let me ask you about the zoning." "Oh, I don't have any idea."
oh,
"Okay,
right,
great." "Well, let
right,
me ask you about the inside." I don't know, there's people living in it." "Are you selling it or not? Like, how are you asking a price for it when you don't even know what it's worth?"
right,
Like, for me, those are questions that lay the foundation for the value that you're asking to get paid.
right, right.
Like, it shouldn't just be an arbitrary number. I don't know. Maybe we'll charge this for that.
Yeah.
No, I feel like you know what you have or you don't.
Oh, man. It's a mess
So
right now.
I
I
would
mean,
love it if somebody were to help in marketing, would help realtors by saying, here's what you should do. I don't know if you know this or not, but your
right.
job description is this. And this is the information you should have when someone calls you.
Mm. It's almost
And
like
when they call them back.
it's the barrier to entry to become a realtor is too low.
Yeah,
So this same thing happened in like what 2006 through 2008, kind of before the bubble burst.
right.
And I remember there were more agents than there were listings, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
we're
yes.
back in that same spot. I personally,
Right,
so I don't have a large social network in Missouri. It's getting bigger every week and that kind of thing.
right,
But I don't think I know anyone that does the same job outside of realtors. And I know 5 realtors. Like in my small social circle, I know 5 realtors.
wow.
And they're all great people, right? Like I'm not gonna knock them. Um, I am going to knock realtors though, like not them, because of course the people I associate with are the best. But
Sure.
my gosh, you know that like one of the things that Darcy and I love to do is like a Saturday morning, like scroll through, realtor.com or Zillow. It used to be Zillow, Zillow's trash, but um,
Right.
that's a whole other thing. But
Yeah.
looking at houses, just like it is something we have done for years. We used to drive around and look at houses on a Saturday morning after grabbing coffee or, whatever.
Yes.
We are, I think, the definition of looky loos. That's what my dad would have called us. Um,
Yeah.
Except we're not ballsy enough to like walk out on a job site and tour it. So I just see over and over and over people that like realtors that don't know anything about marketing, that don't have any clue what their market, their audience, their, you know, target is really looking for.
Right.
Um, and I just like, man, I actually do have a handful. I have 3 clients that are realtors, and
Right.
I almost want to just like, hey, let's put together a workshop, guys. You know, here's
Yeah.
how we can here's how we can collectively, because here's what's going to happen. Regardless of what happens with the housing, market, like whether it's prices changing or interest rates coming down or whatever, it's not sustainable to support that many realtors, right?
Right.
As a realtor, you're gonna have to make more than one sale a year to make a living. And so
Right.
um it's the it there's going to be a thinning of the herd, right?
Oh, I have to think so.
So my thing is like now is a great time if you're a realtor to
Set
lean
yourself
in and
apart.
learn. Set yourself
Mhm.
apart. What is the meaningful difference? Because that job in particular, it's not it's not that much different than the way I've always done business. I get referrals, right?
Right.
And while moving to Missouri has actually had to change that for me because we're still getting referrals from you know existing clients that are kind of all over the U.S., but mostly in California. But
Right.
I'm not getting referrals in Missouri. So to get new business here, it's like I have to actually market myself, which is a strange thing.
Right.
But realtors in particular, like I forget, I heard the stat this last week from one of my clients, but I want to say it's in the 90s. 90% of real estate customers, clients, whatever, do not repeat business with their realtor. And so we were digging into why that is. One of the reasons is you're not using a realtor all the time. Like if you're just your standard, like, you know, family with 2.3 kids, you're probably not buying a house every year, right? Like in fact, probably the most would be 2 years because of capital gains, right?
Mhm.
So it's more likely to be every 7 years.
Right.
Well, in
I think
seven
that's yeah,
years, do you even know if your realtor is still in business? Right?
right.
So what are you doing as a realtor to stay in their mind, to stay at the front of their mind? What's really happening is, especially since there are so many realtors, they've met someone new. Someone new has come into their social circle that is a realtor. And we have a tendency to do business with people that are within reach, right?
Right.
So there needs to be an ongoing reminder, an ongoing branding of yourself to your previous clients while also trying to get new clients. And that thing I keep hearing is like the leads we get are trash. Yes, because you're getting leads. You're not
Uh-huh.
you're buying leads or you're getting handed leads from this company, like you were just saying, where it's like you were looking at something and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, let's get you on a mortgage.
Uh-huh.
Right, right. When you're not even interested in that, you're just wanting information on the property. But
Right.
now you're going to be a lead for one of those realtors that's like, this is a
Right.
trash lead because they're not even warm, you know?
Right.
And so, like, are you generating leads yourself? How do we do
Right.
that? And so, anyway, the whole status of thing, like, I really, gosh, it's like I do, I do not want to get into real estate. I do not want to be a realtor. And this is going to be probably the most arrogant thing that you've heard me say for a long time. But I really feel like if I were in real estate, I would be the king of realtors because I understand marketing. I understand there's a whole other side of realty, the legal side, the here's what you can do and what you can't do. Here's what happens because of title issue. That would not be my specialty. I would have people that did that for me, right? I would
Uh-huh.
have if I especially if I were in the real estate, I would personally would be a seller's agent. I wouldn't turn away buyers, but I would prioritize sellers and I would build the system, having the photographer or the video guy, having the person that works and preps everything here, having the like repair guy that I stay busy with, keep him busy all the time. And I get
Yeah.
a good break that pass on to my clients, like for things that need to be repaired, like the jack of all trades that can fix the faucet, but can also like repair the fence, they can
Yep.
do a little bit of stucco work, whatever.
Yep.
I understand that all sounds very idealistic. I get it. And I'm not trying to offend realtors because if you're listening to this and you're offended as a realtor, I'm not talking about you because you already
Right.
do a good job. Because you're listening
Right.
to our podcast, which means that you're trying to get better. The problem is the other 80% that are out there that just expect people to come to them, that are newer in the market, probably, or they've been in it for a long time and they've just always relied on referrals and they might be getting a little tired and not as hungry as they used to be. Everything this is like it's not just real estate, it's every industry and everything is cyclical too. So hang on, let me go step off my soapbox. I'll stop preaching, but I
Uh-huh.
don't know if like I feel like our rants are at least overlapping a little bit, you know.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I had the God, I was looking for her name in my phone and I didn't see it, which is strange because I have like, I don't know, 2,000 contacts in my phone. I save
Yeah.
everyone. And she listed our house when we were moving out of California. She
Yeah.
also listed my dad's house. She also listed my sister. Like everyone I knew, I passed her name. She
Yeah.
was insanely awesome. Like
Yeah.
when I contacted her, I said, "We're thinking about selling our house. I have a price. I want to talk to you and see if you would be interested in a
I remember
close."
yeah, I remember you telling me this story, but yeah, keep going.
Oh my God. And then she swings by 2 days, 48 hours before the meeting and drops off a packet that shows comps, what she thinks she could get for it, what she's planning on targeting, her
Yeah.
target audience, the people that I'm like, okay, this is somebody who gets this. Like
Right.
she has a better understanding of my house right now than I do. And
Yeah.
she's telling me, let's adjust. We were gonna try and put it up on the market and we thought we were stretching at like whatever the number was. I just make it up. So like 385. And she's like, I think we go over four. And I was
Right.
like,
Right.
I don't know. We ended up selling at like 410.
Right.
We got over asking,
Yeah.
and she was like, no, it's worth more than you think it is. And this is why I'm saying that. Look at the market, look at the, the comps, look at everything,
Right.
and look at what you've done to the place. Like it's gonna stand out since you've got a ton of upgrades. Like let's ask for them.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, but most of these are invisible upgrades. Like most people aren't gonna know about all the extra insulation and the extra things
Right.
that we put in this house that like, and she's like, no, we're gonna showcase those.
Right. We got to
And
tell them.
oh my god, she brought in a photographer who I'm gonna guess would do it the way you're explaining to do it. Like the photographer set up the camera on a tripod and would take a picture of the room focused on the interior of the room, then
Right.
change the camera without moving it and focus outside the window, and then blended the two together so everything was in focus. So when you have the lighting on the interior of the room, it's all lit up and nice and bright, but the
Right.
window's always blown out.
Yeah.
Or you take a picture of the window and then it looks great, but the room is dark as hell and you can't see what's in the room.
Right.
And so I could never get pictures to look right. So I'd always
Right.
close the blinds. And they're like, do not close the blinds, open the blinds.
Right.
Let the trees in, because like with all the plants and it just looks like a park.
Right.
And so I go back and I look at those photos and I'm like, holy crap, like we lived in an amazing house. I wanted those pictures. I really wanted that photographer to come and take pictures of the house while I was living in it so that I could see it in the way it was meant to be seen.
Right. Right.
If that makes any sense.
No, it does. But what you end up having now, at least we're seeing this a lot here, but we saw it a lot in California too, where someone walks in and they're, look, 95% of the photos, if you're like, you can take the photos with your phone. I don't like it, but do it. Fine. I don't care. You don't care enough about your listing to get a professional, photographer for your customer. Fine.
But
It's going to
move the
cost you
clothes.
$250. God forbid it comes out of your commission. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry. Whew. Calm down, CJ.
Woo.
But they go in and they'll take photos with their phone. Okay, I will give you this. Phones can do a lot more than they could 5 years ago.
Okay.
So that's a okay place to start. It's fine. But turn your phone sideways for God's sake. If I have to look at another kitchen in portrait mode and where I'm getting it's two photos, right? It's like here's half the kitchen and here's the other half of the kitchen. They had to just take it two pictures when they could have just turned their phone sideways and taken one picture.
I know.
Like I don't understand it, man. But
And God
I'm not the
forbid they
customer.
take 2 seconds to move the dirty dishes off the counter to take the picture,
That's a
or
whole
the
other thing.
underwear off the
Yeah,
bed, or
yeah.
the
Or pick
like,
up the trash that's literally on the counter or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
throw away the McDonald's bag. My
yeah.
gosh, like,
And
make
I'll
it
get
look
like
like
some of that is like, there are trashy people, right? And if I'm the realtor, like I probably just wouldn't take the property
yeah,
because if
don't take
that's how
the listing
someone
because you're
lives,
gonna have a
they're
hard
going to be
time
a
selling
problem
it.
client at some point.
Yeah,
There's something about that closing that's going to get weird, right?
yeah,
But that's me, again, like I'm an idealist, I'm a perfectionist,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I,
No, so what's your idea? So I get that there's a lot of problem. Are you thinking about marketing to realtors?
I really seriously am thinking about setting up some because I have a really good friend and a family member that are longtime agents
Okay,
that have been very successful and that also like are incredibly knowledgeable. I almost want to get them to and join with them and do some kind of like workshop or something to
okay.
just it would I think it would be worthwhile, like
You know
because
what I
who's
would
going to
love to
survive this
see?
is the people that have the listings, right?
You know what I'd love to see you do? And this is just me, but I would love to see you create a workshop with something at the end.
Okay.
Like do a free workshop that teaches people how to stage photo, how to get listing, how to mark, how to answer the phone, like basic stuff. And then
Yeah.
say, if you really want to excel, then learn here and then sell them something. Like teach them but at least bring the whole level of the industry up where you
Right.
live
Right.
to at least a workable standard, and
Right.
then from there they can achieve excellence. But everybody needs to do a better job. Not everybody, but let's You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let's raise the level of the chaff.
That's it. That's it. Because again, the the quality people that are doing a great job, they're going to be the ones that survive.
Yes.
And like, look, you might be a realtor that knows so much about the ins and outs of titles and property history and the complications. And here's an easement. Well, that is not at all interesting to me, right?
Right.
Which is why I shouldn't get into real estate. However, marketing a property, showing off the right things about the property, putting the right information that's not written by AI, like, oh my gosh, it's so obvious when people use AI to write their listing descriptions. Which, hey,
Uh-huh.
I'll give them this. At least they're trying something new, right? But like, I don't need to read fluffy words. I need like just give me the facts. Give me the facts,
Yes.
Jack. Right?
And like, retrain your AI to be concise. Like, honestly, just tell it to
Yes.
be
Yeah.
concise. It's not, you don't need all the flowery language. It's bedroom number 2
Oh
that
yeah.
faces south, that has good lighting.
Oh my gosh. One of the things that I really want as a consumer, and I get it, this costs money, or maybe you could go, depending on where you live, maybe the floor plan's on the record with the county.
Huh?
But show me a floor plan, even if it's just rough. I don't need actual dimensions, but give me an idea of what the layout of the house is. Like, that means
Dude,
so much.
I would take a Sharpie on a napkin,
Yes. Just sketch
because
it
I
out.
have to put it together. I'm looking at the pictures and I'm like, if I'm looking at this right, that's a hallway to the left of the kitchen, which
Right.
then I'm going to the hallway pictures and I'm like, that means the bedrooms would be, okay, let's go to the exterior photo. Nope, it's a small window. Okay, go back to the bedrooms with the small window.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
how nice would it be just to have a black and white marker and be like, bedroom 1,
Yeah.
bedroom 2, kitchen. I don't need to know where the outlets are. I'm not building the house,
Yeah.
but I'd like to know, nope, I want the split floor plan that has it. Nope,
Right.
I want
Right.
one that has a south facing kitchen wall so I can have my plants grow and do, or but
Right. Which
something
window is that?
a
Like,
little
I'm
more
looking
than
from the
what's
front of the
there.
house, like, look at the front elevation. I see there's a window here. Which room is that? Like, just it's
Mhm.
little things
And then
like
you
that
gotta,
that make
yeah,
a big difference. You know? Um,
uh-huh,
it doesn't have to be the, like, virtual tour, where you click on the spot and it takes you and you can look at the 360. I mean, I guess that's nice.
right,
I'm not saying don't do that, but where I'm
right,
really gonna see the value in that is just seeing the floor plan, you know?
uh-huh,
Because the problem with those 360 images is that they're not as good as the HDR photos, like which is
photo,
what you were talking about, or bracketing, photos like where it's multiple pictures that are blended together, so you get the inside and the outside, everything's in focus and exposed right. The 360 camera setups don't do that as well. So I want to
right,
see the pretty pictures, right? But I really want to see the
right,
floor plan. Um,
right.
I understand too, like I appreciate when realtors do like the virtually staged pictures. I get that. I'm not the person that needs that because I can walk into an empty space and I can see what I want to do with it. I can see it on but I also understand most people aren't like that. So I'll
Right.
give props to the realtors that are
Yeah.
that are doing that.
That are
But
taking
there's
going the extra step. It may or
yeah,
may not be in the direction I prefer, but I
right.
appreciate the extra step nonetheless.
Absolutely. But
I
yes,
think
when you
everybody
go
needs a
in,
niche and it's like, "No, this is what I always do." Cool. Lean into what you always do
sure,
because
exactly.
you're gonna attract clients and customers that like what you do. Perfect.
Right. Right.
I think everybody should be a little bit different, but let's include a floor plan.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. I also so one of the newer things that I've seen, um, this is just a fun thing. Let me see if I can find it. I'm actually on a listing right now since we were talking about stuff. Do you remember that? Let me share it really quick with you. Um, we are so far off on a tangent. This is so great.
Yeah, this is
Do you
great. This
remember?
makes for great radio.
This is just
Yes.
about us having fun. Do you remember this place?
Yep.
So here, I'll bring it up on screen. So you and I looked at, we talked about this property about a year ago. It was a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
Um, and it is still for sale, and it is about $100,000 less than it was
Yep.
then. And
Or
it's an old church, and let me just go through the pictures. Like, it's got a living area, it's got a few
right.
bedrooms, but what's really cool about it is it's not even the house for me. It's the like what was the sanctuary.
Yeah.
Like, dude, look at those rafters. the things that
Uh-huh.
you could do. So, and then there's also like a space downstairs, and I just look at it and I'm like,
Right.
okay, you could turn this place into a venue, you know.
Uh-huh. Right.
There's so
Easy.
much fun stuff you could do with it, you know. Maybe even make it into a co-work, you know, studio, you know, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, um, I noticed all that to say, I noticed not on the website, but like in the realtor.com, I think maybe even Zillow now, there's a place where you can add a comment. And I want to create like I don't want it to be me. I want to create a troll account. This is so bad. But I want to troll realtors that do a bad job. So imagine like you're in the app on your phone and you can leave a comment. It can be for yourself or it can be for the public, and just tearing apart people when they do a bad job with their listing. That's not the energy I want to bring into the world, but there's a part
No.
of me that's like that's how passionate I am about this stinking, you know, real estate thing, that I just think, man, and celebrate people that do a great job. Like, oh man, this place looks amazing. You know,
Right.
again, the world doesn't need my opinion on all these things, but
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
anyway,
I'll
so
tell you,
real
I
estate
still
tangent
like
over.
that. I still like that property. It's
I
not
know.
ideal. There's some drawbacks. Got to buy
Absolutely.
the other house that's on that block,
Yes. Yeah.
and there's a few things that would need to also happen. But at 100K under what it was,
Yeah. I mean, it's 289, and it's, let's see how many square feet it is. I think it's up there. So in living space, it's
uh
2,950 square feet.
yeah,
3
that's not
bedrooms, 1.5
including
bath.
that's not
That's not
including
including the, like, sanctuary upstairs and downstairs in the church
right,
building. Like, it's
right.
kinda crazy, but it's an old building. It was built in the, like, early 1900s, you know, it's gonna be drafty, you
Mhm.
know, I don't know. It's gonna take, $150,000 to do with it what to
No,
make it into, like, a
nope,
cool venue or whatever, but
no. It would take $150,000 and you and I doing all of the labor,
well, yeah, exactly, right. Yeah, that's not
because as much as
$150,000
stuff
having someone else
costs
do it.
right now,
Yeah,
I look at that and I'm like, "Nope," with the market the way what people are charging now, $150,000 wouldn't get you the windows
right.
caulked in.
Right. But that, and then that goes back to the thing, even though you and I have the skill sets to
How would we
do
ever
that,
find the time without
how
like
would we have to find the time, and why in the world we don't need to be doing that. We need to be growing our businesses, which is why let's go back to minding your business. Like, keep your mind on your business, work on
yeah.
your thing, you know. Both of us have a tendency to just want to like get in there and do the things that we can do, and that's not necessarily what we should do.
No, honestly, that should be a retirement project,
Right, right.
or a side thing when we have too much time. And
Yeah,
I tell you, I'm not overrun with time at this moment.
I'm not either, though. I could definitely I could carve out time.
If I lived in the house on the property, I'd carve out a
Yeah.
lot of time to it would
I just
eat
have a
up a
tendency to
lot of my
fill my
time.
schedule. Whatever it is, I will fill my schedule, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Because I don't want to not fill my schedule. I don't like sitting and staring at 4 walls, you know?
right.
Um, but, um, I had a complete tangent that I was gonna go down, but I'm not going to, because we're getting close to an hour. That's our cutoff time. So,
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll have to
breath.
revisit
Yeah.
the realtor thing after you've talked to your realtor family and friends
Yeah.
and see if you put something together. I wouldn't mind brainstorming something. I think that would be a good time.
Yeah.
Um, just because I know we're gonna have alternate perspectives looking at the
Absolutely.
industry from the
Right.
way you look at it and the way I see it. So it might be fun to kind of mess around with and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Okay,
What
man.
else? What else do we need to touch on while
I don't
we're
know. I know we're gonna hop in and do another quiz funnel. We're gonna try to copy some quiz funnel stuff from
Yep,
your site to another site.
yep.
Um,
I
and
completed doing all of the stuff that you had me do, which if I'm not mistaken, yeah, the welcome message, notifications, confirmations, and then I fixed the age demographics on that question.
okay.
I took a look at it. I think I did it right, and I think it's good. Um, and I went in and like typed letters and confirmation, all of the stuff. So
Yeah.
it's the email confirmation that sends them after the fact. Man, I'll tell you, I created, you remember when we talked and you were like, yeah, no, you should offer them like, hey, I've got some more stuff for you. If you're interested, click here, give me your email.
Right.
I then created the stuff,
Okay.
uploaded it to the website, and then have the link page so that they can just click it. They get the email, they click it, it opens up the PDF, they can download it, they're off to the races.
Yeah.
And it is the exact stuff that each level is something separate, something different.
Okay.
One plays on another. And so it's like, if you're at this level, you get this, you still have access to the other things, which you'll get at a later date, but that's
Right.
just kind of further down the funnel.
Well, to
So,
catch everyone up on like the way you set up your quiz funnel results is you, without people knowing if they're hot, cold, medium, whatever, like warm,
right.
you set it
This
up
is
that
how they
those are
find
the
out.
answers. Yeah, you had like there's 4 answers, for their quiz funnel, and based on whether they're frigid or on fire, they get a different offer. And so,
Right.
like, I'm sure people are sick of us talking about quiz funnels, but there's a reason we're talking about it. To be
Right.
able to 10x your conversion rate on a landing page, come on, right?
Right.
And everything keeps coming back to like you have to generate leads. And then
Yep.
from there, you have to segment them. And then
Yep.
from there, you have to nurture those leads. But you
Right.
have to start with converting them from a viewer to a prospect, So it all,
Right.
again, if you're 10xing it there, it's going to have a
Right.
10x further down your funnel. So,
Right. And I think the way you do that is by providing value.
right,
It's not just me asking, holding my hand out.
right.
It's me saying, here's something I've got for you, but which of these things would benefit you most? And they
That's
go,
it.
oh, that. Well, then here you go.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready, if you're ready, move on and take the rest of this stuff.
Right.
And then
Right.
when you get to that point and you're like, I think I need help with this. Cool. Now let's go.
It's like people are so afraid to like, they don't want to give away their secrets. I've seen this over and over and over and over.
Oh,
Like, oh, but I don't want to give it away for free. No, give it away for free. You're going to attract way more. It's why it's called a lead magnet. Don't give away the whole thing. Give away
right,
pieces, right?
right,
Whet their appetite. And then
right.
then if you've given them value, you've earned their trust. Eventually you can ask for their dollars, right? So,
Yeah,
anyway.
it is crazy that I am so sick of hearing people ask for dollars
Mhm.
before they've even, in my opinion, earned the right to even
Right.
bring it up.
Yes.
And I think it's generational.
Mhm.
Maybe the new next this generation, like, no, you owe me.
Right,
And I
right,
feel like, no, you owe me. Like owe I don't owe you anything. If I'm coming to you, you owe me what you said you were going to give me.
right.
Don't
You
say
can't
like
just
check here and
go
I'll
in
give you the.
cold.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
drives me crazy and I can't
It's like we've just
stand.
met and you're asking me to marry you, right? Like we
And
we
it's like
have
a
to
big
go through
fat
and nurture that relationship.
big old bait and switch. I can't stand that either. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? I have honestly watched people done their stuff, whatever, and they promise you something, and you're like, fine. You watch it, you find out they were lying, and then you hate them. And then there's other people where they promise you something, and then they give it to you, and you're like, you've left nothing for me to need to buy.
Right. Right.
No, oh my God, like you just gave me the secret. You told me exactly what you said you were going to tell me. You told it to me. I wonder what else you know. And then I follow them. I
Right.
look them up. I go after them to find out like what else do you have? If you're giving away something this valuable, something
Right.
this important, what are you hanging on to? And often they'll be like, nothing. That's what I have right there. And I'm like, then let me pay you for it.
Right. Right.
Like I still want to find. Well, if you're not selling a program or something, let me hook me up with a T-shirt. I'll buy your merch. Like
Right.
I
Right.
want to support you because my God, you're doing the good work.
Yeah. We have to earn the right to ask for money, to ask for even in our email at this point, right? We talked about this. Like
Mhm.
people
Yeah, it
perceive
drives
the
me crazy. I
value of
don't
their
want to do
email
that
to be
either.
anywhere from $10 to $20. And so whatever we're giving them for that email had better have a value of at least $10 to $20. But it,
Yep.
it all comes down to like you have to nurture that relationship and you have to connect before you collect. right? So
Yep.
you have to
Yep.
connect with them. They have to feel like, okay, I trust this person. They're an expert. They have value they're giving me before you're going to be able to ask for their dollar, even their email, right? So give value up front. Yeah, don't give away the whole cow. I don't know. But
Right.
give something. I know we're going to go into analogy land and it's not going to land. But
Right.
anyway, yeah, connect before you collect. That's all I'm going to say. And with that, we are going to bounce. So we'll take a
Yes.
quick break. We'll see you. I'll see
Sounds
you
good.
back at the after hours. But until next week, mind your business. Hey, thanks for listening to the Minding Your Business podcast. Your hosts are Aaron Gerals and me, CJ Jolliffe. If you want to find out more about us or when we're going live or follow us on socials, just go to our website, mybpodcast.com. And again, thank you so much for listening.